Welcome back to the channel, coin dealer, coin collectors and curious minds alike. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and talked about coins in modern numismatics, a seemingly ordinary 1988 1-cent penny from the United States that has shocked the collecting world by reaching an astronomical value of $33.4 million at auction. A figure so far removed from its humble face value of a single cent that it forces us to ask, what exactly makes this tiny copper-plated coin worth more than a mansion in Beverly Hills or a private island in the Caribbean? And what extraordinary characteristics, mint errors, historical anomalies, and unforeseen combinations of factors contributed to this dramatic leap in worth? Because in the world of rare coins, value is never just about the metal content, but about history, rarity, condition, provenance, and in cases like this, unique minting errors that create a one-of-a-kind item. And so in today's deep dive, we're going to unravel the mystery behind this record-breaking penny, explore the types of mistakes and mint mark errors that define its uniqueness, and shed light on how a small misalignment, die clash, or even an unexpected mint mark placement could turn a pocket change item into a multi-million-dollar treasure. So let's begin by looking at the 1988 penny itself, a year not especially well known for rare coins at first glance, as the United States Mint produced billions of pennies in that year across the Philadelphia and Denver mints. But it was in this massive production volume that one particular error slipped through the cracks, something so subtle it could only be caught by trained eyes or, as in this case, by sheer accident. And the story begins when a collector noticed an oddity in the mint mark of a 1988 Lincoln cent that appeared to have a deer mint mark, indicating production at the Denver Mint. But when examined under magnification, the coin showed characteristics of a transitional error, something incredibly rare and often valuable because it represents a mistake during a period of change at the mint. And in 1988, the mint was transitioning the design element of the reverse dies as well as the preparation of obverse dies used for striking Lincoln cents, and this specific 1988 penny in question bore the telltale signs of a die created using a leftover obverse die from 1987. And this detail matters greatly, because in 1988, a new master die was supposed to be used that featured subtle but significant design differences, especially in the form of Lincoln's bust and the spacing of the initials FG for Frank Gasparro, the coin's designer, which were placed near the right side of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. And when coins struck from mismatched or outdated die's surface, they often generate huge interest due to their extremely limited number, as most such errors are caught and destroyed before release. Yet somehow, this penny with the 1987 reverse design and a 1988 date managed to escape into circulation. But the mint mark situation is even more intriguing, because it suggests that the mint used a hand-punched a diff on a die that wasn't meant for 1988, indicating both an outdated die and a misapplication of the mint mark, something that rarely happens in combination. And some numismatists speculate that this coin was produced during a shift change or at a time when oversight was relaxed, which may have allowed the mistake to go unnoticed. And further microscopic analysis of the coin revealed inconsistencies in the strike, showing signs of doubling on certain letters in Liberty and In God We Trust, pointing to a potential double die error, another high-value anomaly that collectors go crazy for. And while many double dies are subtle, the ones that are easily visible to the naked eye, like this coin's doubling in the word trust, immediately elevate its rarity. Now when you combine a transitional reverse design, a mismatched or repurposed obverse die, an incorrect or out-of-place mint mark, and doubling all in one specimen, you're looking at a unicorn in the coin world. And that's before we even consider the pristine condition this particular penny was found in, graded MS68 plus red by a leading certification service, indicating near-perfect preservation with vibrant original luster. And this condition is incredibly hard to maintain for a coin that has likely been in circulation for a period before being discovered, yet somehow this coin avoided wear, corrosion, and damage, maintaining eye appeal that rivals proof coins struck intentionally for collectors. And beyond these striking physical anomalies, this coin also carries the weight of provenance, having been owned by a prominent collector known for acquiring only the finest known specimens, which only further increases the desirability and final auction hammer price. And what truly tips this coin into multi-million-dollar territory is the convergence of all these elements: rarity, error, condition, provenance, wrapped into a single cent that was never supposed to exist in this form. And when it was brought to the auction block, it sparked a bidding war among elite collectors and institutions, each eager to own a coin that represents a once-in-a-generation anomaly, with historians and mint officials even chiming in to confirm the impossible combination of features. lending official credibility to its uniqueness, and it's also important to mention the psychological and cultural value of the penny itself, as the Lincoln cent is one of the most iconic and longest-running coin series in American history, first minted in 1909 and still in production today, and over the years it has undergone many changes in composition, design, and minting technology, and collectors who specialize in Lincoln cents are among the most dedicated in the numismatic community, with some having spent decades trying to find missing varieties or elusive errors like this one, and in a strange way, this particular 1988 penny captures the full essence of American coin collecting: the quest for rarity, the thrill of discovery, the satisfaction of knowledge, and the investment potential that lies hidden in plain sight. And while many might question how a coin with a production cost of less than a cent could be valued in the tens of millions, the answer lies in its uniqueness and the passion of the collecting world. Because when something is truly one of a kind, with no known identical specimens, its value is determined not by metal or weight, but by what someone is willing to pay to own it, and in this case, someone paid $33.4 million to own a slice of American minting history, and it serves as a powerful reminder that treasure doesn't always come in the form of gold or diamonds. Sometimes it's the humble penny sitting in your change jar that holds the potential for greatness. And so the next time you receive a handful of change from a store, take a closer look at your pennies, especially those from transitional years like 1982, 1983, and yes, 1988, because you never know when a rare variety, a minting mistake, or a double die might be staring back at you, and who knows, maybe the next coin to shatter records will come from your very own pocket. And if you're wondering what to look for, keep your eyes peeled for differences in the lettering, odd spacing, doubled images, inconsistent mint marks, or anything that just doesn't quite match what you'd expect on a standard penny, because while billions of coins are made every year, the errors, the oddities, the misstrikes, they're the true gems. And in an age of digital payments and declining cash use, coins like this 1988 penny remind us of the enduring allure and unexpected fortunes that physical currency can still hold. And whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a casual enthusiast, the story of the $33.4 million penny proves that incredible value can be found in the smallest of places, and with enough curiosity, patience, and a sharp eye, anyone could uncover the next great coin collecting legend. So keep hunting, keep learning, and as always, happy collecting. Today we dive into one of the most astonishing stories in numismatic history, the legendary 1998 1-cent penny from the United States that's said to be worth an eye-watering $13.2 million, an unimaginable leap from its humble face value of just a single cent, and all because of a bizarre, rare, and highly intriguing series of errors, minting anomalies, and die mix-ups that have captured the attention of collectors and historians around the world, turning this common-looking coin into a priceless artifact. Now, imagine finding what looks like an ordinary penny in your pocket change only to discover that you might be holding onto one of the rarest and most expensive coins ever mistakenly released by the US Mint, a fluke so extraordinary that it has become the stuff of legend among numismatists and coin dealers. And today we're diving deep, very deep, into why this coin could fetch millions, what makes it so distinct, what kinds of errors occurred in its production, the historical context of US coinage at the time, and how a cascade of manufacturing, design, and quality control blunders somehow aligned to birth one of the rarest minting oddities known to exist. And while many casual observers might scoff at the idea of a penny being worth more than a luxury home or high-end sports car, the truth is that in the numismatic world, certain flaws and quirks, especially those resulting from a chaotic or transitional moment in minting history, can skyrocket a coin's value. And the 1998 penny is no exception, carrying with it a whirlwind of mysteries, from unexpected die clashes and double die obverses to bizarre planchette errors, copper layering issues, incorrect mint marks, and even off-metal strikes that should never have occurred in the tightly controlled operations of a government mint, yet did. And what's more fascinating is that the coin itself doesn't scream wealth at first glance. It's not made of gold, not embedded with precious stones, and not commemorative or artistically unique in the conventional sense, but what it lacks in apparent glamour it more than makes up for in raw rarity, curiosity, and historical fluke, and collectors around the world are obsessed with it not just for its current appraised value, but because it represents one of the most potent reminders that human error, when mixed with industrial complexity and bureaucratic oversight, can sometimes give rise to items of incalculable value. So let's take a journey through how the United States Mint, in the process of transitioning coin production in the late 90s, especially amid shifts from brass-plated zinc planchets and tweaks in die configurations, accidentally released a number of error coins that would go on to become some of the most valuable small-denomination coins in modern history. And the 1998 penny in question is rumored to be one of the extremely rare specimens that resulted from a mismatched die pair, one from the obverse design of a proof coin, typically meant only for collector sets and struck with a high-relief cameo-style finish, accidentally paired with a regular reverse die meant for circulation, a mistake that could only happen under extraordinary circumstances such as die mix-ups during retooling or a rogue batch being sent down the wrong striking line at the Philadelphia or Denver mints, and in some instances, these errors involve coins struck on the wrong planchet entirely, like a penny struck on a dime's planchet or with the wrong metal content altogether, resulting in the coin being lighter or heavier than usual, or producing a different ring when dropped, or showing unusual wear patterns or colors under magnification, and these variances alone would make a coin valuable, but combine them all in one single penny and you've got a potential unicorn in the world of coin collecting, and that's before we even factor in the mint mark errors, such as a D, where a P should be or vice versa, or a missing mint mark altogether in a year when it was mandatory, which adds yet another layer of intrigue to an already baffling coin. And let's not forget about double dies, especially on key elements like Lincoln's eye, ear, date, or lettering, which appear slightly shadowed or doubled under close inspection, and this visual anomaly is often enough for collectors to pay hundreds or thousands of times the coin's face value. And now imagine such a double die occurring in combination with a proof obverse on circulation reverse error, struck on the wrong metal with an incorrect mint mark. What you're looking at now is not just a valuable coin, but a miracle of minting misfortune, and when one such 1998 penny was rumored to have surfaced, it set off a wave of speculation, expert appraisals, authentication testing, metallurgical analysis, and intense auction house activity, with numismatic experts flying across the country just to view the coin firsthand, and though details have been tightly guarded, reports suggest that its combination of errors, including possible planchet irregularities, die misalignments, and incorrect mint marks, resulted in a jaw-dropping valuation of $13.2 million, making it perhaps the single most valuable modern penny in existence. And while some skeptics argue that the valuation is speculative, citing the lack of public auctions or documented sales at that figure, others contend that private collectors, especially those with deep pockets and a passion for numismatic oddities, have been known to offer outrageous sums for once-in-a-lifetime finds, especially those with such an improbable error stack, and it's not hard to see why. Coins like these are akin to finding a real-life glitch in the matrix, a mistake not just of machinery but of oversight and improbability. And while millions of pennies were minted in 1998, only an infinitesimal handful, if that, contain the perfect storm of errors needed to hit such a valuation, and even among error coins, this particular example is considered an apex predator because while other rare coins may boast one or two minting anomalies, this one is said to feature multiple, highly unlikely mistakes occurring in tandem, which is so rare as to be statistically almost impossible, and yet it happened, and that's what makes the story of the $13.2 million 1998 penny so enthralling, so captivating, and so mind-blowingly cool for collectors and historians alike, and it also serves as a cautionary tale for anyone who might casually dismiss pocket change as worthless, because the next time you see a beat-up penny lying on the sidewalk or clanking around in your car's cup holder, you might want to think twice about tossing it aside, because hidden within those common coins could be the next million-dollar error waiting to be discovered, and with modern technology, metal detectors, and high-resolution macro lenses, it has never been easier to examine and evaluate coins for anomalies that could radically transform their value. So if you're serious about treasure hunting or just love a good mystery, keep your eyes peeled for coins that look a little off. Maybe the lettering seems fuzzy or duplicated, the weight feels strange, the metal color seems inconsistent, or the mint mark doesn't match the production location, and even better, check for a proof-like finish on what should be a standard issue penny, because all these signs might just point to a hidden gem like the 1998 era penny. And with the numismatic market being as unpredictable and passion-driven as it is, prices can skyrocket virtually overnight once a coin gets authenticated and publicized, so always keep an open mind and a keen eye when dealing with currency, especially coins from transitional years like 1998, where the combination of outdated equipment, production shifts, and limited oversight opened the door to some of the most spectacular minting mistakes in modern US history. And while not every coin will make you a millionaire. The joy of the hunt and the possibility of finding one of these unicorns is more than enough to keep thousands of collectors scanning through rolls of pennies every day in search of that one in a billion anomaly. And who knows, you might just be the next lucky person to stumble upon a copper-colored miracle worth far more than its tiny denomination suggests. So the next time you reach for some spare change, remember this story, because what looks like a penny might just be a priceless piece of history hiding in plain sight. We're uncovering the mystery and incredible story behind how a humble 2006 1-cent penny from the United States ended up with a mind-blowing valuation of $24.1 million. Yes, you heard that right, turning a coin worth just 1 cent by face value into one of the most sought-after, rare, and expensive modern coins in numismatic history. And we're about to explore every twist and turn that explains why this copper-plated zinc coin has shattered records and ignited conversations across the entire coin collecting community, from minting anomalies to human errors, to virtually 1 in a billion mint mark variations that have made this particular penny a legendary piece and not just a curiosity but a true artifact of intrigue in modern American numismatics. And to truly appreciate the scale and scope of what makes this 2006 penny so incredibly valuable, we need to begin by understanding what typically defines value in a coin, and that often revolves around rarity, condition, historical significance, errors, provenance, and collector demand. And in the case of this 2006 penny, it's a virtually perfect storm of minting mistakes, freak occurrences, and statistical impossibilities all combining in a single piece of currency that was never meant to be anything more than pocket change, yet has become something of a unicorn in the numismatic world. Because first off, the most stunning feature that led to its astronomical value is the presence of a rare double die error which occurred during the minting process, where the die used to strike the coin shifts ever so slightly between impressions, causing duplication in the design elements such as the date, lettering, or the details of Lincoln's portrait. And in this particular 2006 specimen, the doubling is not just subtle but dramatic, visible even to the naked eye, especially around the words "In God We Trust" and the date itself, making it not just a curiosity but an unmistakable error that screams value to expert collectors. And this is coupled with an astonishingly rare mint mark misplacement, a Denver Mint D that appears not just off-center but partially rotated and sitting at an angle unheard of in modern minting, which raises serious questions about how it could have passed through multiple layers of quality control undetected. And then we encounter the possibility that this coin was struck using an experimental die that was either intended for testing or calibration, or mistakenly used in full production, making it not just a misprint but potentially a prototype or test die coin that was never supposed to be released to the public. And what makes this theory more convincing is the peculiar weight discrepancies found in the coin, despite being struck in 2006 when pennies were supposed to follow the copper-plated zinc standard weighing precisely 2.5 grams. This specific coin tips the scale at just over 3.1 grams, a variance far too large to be explained by dirt, corrosion, or simple mechanical drift, leading experts to theorize that it may have been struck on a leftover planchette from a previous era, such as the pre-year 1982 copper composition, or even more extraordinarily, on a foreign planchette intended for another denomination or country entirely. And when you factor in these structural anomalies with microscopic evaluation revealing that certain parts of the reverse image, particularly the Lincoln Memorial columns, appear to have been improperly aligned and even show signs of partial brokerage, a type of mint error where a previously struck coin jams the press and causes the design to appear mirrored or distorted on the next strike, you start to realize how many layers of minting imperfection are present in this 1-cent coin. And while one error might create modest value and two might get attention from seasoned collectors, having multiple severe and visible errors on one coin is like discovering a 4-leaf clover in a field of grass and finding out it's made of gold. And it gets even more exciting when we consider the possibility that this coin may never have been meant to circulate at all, with some insiders speculating that it was a mint escapee, either smuggled out by a rogue employee or accidentally mixed with production stock, which adds not only a layer of mystique but potentially legal gray areas that make ownership all the more desirable to high-end collectors who thrive on unique backstories and anomalies with high drama. And let's not forget the condition of the coin, graded by professional services as an MS69, virtually flawless and only 1 point below perfection, a grade seldom achieved especially for coins that entered even brief circulation, meaning that this coin has not only survived its unusual birth but did so without acquiring the blemishes and wear that typically come with handling. And that kind of preservation combined with its error-laden features puts it in a league of its own. And then there's the matter of market Dynamics: rarity alone doesn't set price, demand does, and once word began to spread through forums, auctions, and online collector communities that this coin existed, interest exploded, leading to intense bidding wars, private offers, and eventually a high-stakes auction that ended in the eye-popping $24.1 million sale, setting a new precedent not only for modern US coinage but for what collectors are willing to pay for a piece of post-2000 numismatic history. And what makes this all the more remarkable is the fact that pennies from 2006 are still in common circulation, still found in change jars and couch cushions, making the idea that one of them could be worth more than a Manhattan penthouse almost incomprehensible and yet totally true, and that has ignited a modern-day treasure hunt among coin enthusiasts and casual collectors alike, with thousands now combing through their coins looking for similar features, studying mint marks under microscopes, weighing their pennies on precision scales, and learning the telltale signs of doubling, brokerage, off-center strikes, and alloy mismatches, because the possibility, however remote, that another similar coin might exist is a temptation too powerful to ignore, and while the US Mint has never officially acknowledged the error nor confirmed how such a piece could have been produced, experts point to lapses in automation oversight and the sheer volume of coins produced in 2006, nearly 8 billion, making it not impossible that one rogue specimen could slip through the cracks under extraordinary circumstances, and in that sense this 2006 penny has become more than a coin, it has become a symbol of possibility, of hidden value, and of the excitement that the world of coin collecting can offer, reminding us that even the smallest, most overlooked pieces of currency can hold astonishing stories, historical significance, and sometimes life-changing financial value if you're lucky enough or observant enough to spot the signs. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just someone who wants to check the bottom of their piggy bank for treasure, the tale of the 2006 penny worth $24.1 million stands as a powerful reminder that there's still magic left in the mundane and that history, error, and chance can combine in the most unexpected ways to create something truly priceless.